All right, we are live. Welcome to the Great Transition. Hello, everybody. Hello, Seth. Hello, Chris. How are you,
Hey
Hi.
guys.
my
Hi.
beloved
Pleasure.
Kabbalist friends? We are here discussing where the world is going, where humanity is going, where technology is going, which is how would you say, guys? Technology, Kabbalistically speaking, is it a part of humanity? Is it what is it? What is, come on, in one, not nothing long, like one sentence. What is technology from a Kabbalistic perspective? Whoops, sorry for that beep.
Disturbance. A
It helps
tool.
us. It's some kind of mirror on our inner
Ooh,
development that helps us understand the world we're in, the laws of the world we're in.
I
It
love
yeah,
mirror. Like
it
that.
shows us a
Love
little
that.
bit more where we actually are. Where are we? Just look at where technology is, kind of thing.
All right. Take that. I'll take that.
Where are you going with this?
Technology is obviously very fascinating, and as we move forward into the future, boldly go into the 21st century, it's getting more and more fascinating. And what's fascinating about it is that it is such a, like, I'm going to take Seth's words, if it is in fact a mirror of human development. Well, we don't hear you. Can you hear me?
Again, your audio
Uh-oh.
Oh
disappeared.
no. Oh no.
Now we
Now
hear you.
I heard
Now
you
we hear
say oh
you.
no, but we
I, I,
lost
I
like
said oh no
technology
because
is and then
technology is not perfect, as you can see.
Unreliable.
Yeah, okay. So, hello to all the folks here on the chat. As you can see, we might be having some technical hiccups with my bandwidth, probably. So, if that happens, sorry for that. Hopefully, you can now hear us well. Can we hear each other well? Yes? Yes? We good?
yeah.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Let's
So,
just say what another minor miracle. Can you hear me?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all good.
Okay, just want to say quick minor miracle.
Yeah.
Hello to all the friends who joined us from around the
Oh,
world
okay.
as usual. If not as many people as they're here, that's almost as many countries. So Crystal in Sydney, Gabriel in Oregon, the U.S., Cannibal in France, Ahmed in Libya, Mahela in Romania, Julie in Utah in the U.S., Annie in North Carolina, Adam in Morocco. Good luck in the World Cup. Aaron in Sweden, Yetzi in the Netherlands. This is mind-boggling how this works. Mancini, hey David in Quebec, and Papu in Peru. What?
Indeed.
Oh no. You couldn't hear did you can you hear me now? No?
Oh God.
No.
Dang it.
Oh boy.
Not on the ChatGPT show.
Maybe we could just make an AI of Asaf, and we don't even need the real one. We have enough
uh
videos of him. We can just
here's what
predict
we
what he's
do.
gonna say.
Oh, we're so close.
Okay, are we good now? No? Not yet?
Yeah,
Still
go for it.
Are you? What's going on? The delay. There's also a massive delay. It
very
seems like
weird.
more than
I
usual.
don't
You're not a
know. I
VPN.
don't know. I honestly
You
don't
want to
know
drop
what's going
Facebook
on.
maybe and see if that helps?
I don't, it doesn't look like this is the issue though. It doesn't look like
Okay,
this
Oh,
is the
so
David says we
issue.
hear him fine.
Julie and David say they hear you fine, and Ichdu says it's all fine. So let's just go for it.
Okay.
Just go. And whatever
So
we miss, we miss. As long as they get it.
So yeah, so let's just jump right into it. So there's this newly released chatbot that all three of us have been playing with a little bit in preparation for this show, and instead of explaining what it is, we'll just show it. Okay, so here's, hopefully you can you see my screen? You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is
Yeah.
ChatGPT. This is released by a company called OpenAI, and this got already over a million views, a million users. I mean, in just like 3 weeks.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Just off 1 second. If everyone can just let us know if you can hear Asaf, then Chris and I will suffer through this. But if you also can't hear him, then then let us know, because that just cut out for Chris and I. But if everyone else out there in the universe was able to hear you, so then we got.
It's like important info that I didn't know what you said, and now I won't be able to
Okay, so
follow up
David
with what you
Mancini
just
says
said.
they hear everyone fine. So Chris, you and I will suffer, and everyone else will be fine. So let's
All
go
right,
ahead.
I'll suffer. I'll suffer. All right, we'll suffer together. It's all right.
Okay, Asaf, go
How
ahead.
they say
I
misery loves
think
company. So
I
are we.
think when
Okay.
when it happens, I'm gonna miss your voice as well. So there's, I don't know, something weird is happening here.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well,
Okay, well, that's what we got. We'll live with that. So this thing is what it's doing in terms of AI is really incredible. And before we get into um, the interesting questions that arise from it, let's just take a look at what this thing does. So this is a chatbot. You can chat with it and go back and forth with it, and basically ask it to do all kinds of text-related tasks. You want to write an article, you want to write an essay, you want to write it in this style, in that style, you want to write a story, you want to write a song, you want to write a rap song, you want to write code. It can even do that for you. Now, just let's just, just for the sake of a quick demonstration here, I'm gonna tell it to write a 500 words article for the New York Times. About what? About what? What do you say?
Robots taking over jobs.
homelessness.
Homelessness?
Oh, that's almost the same thing.
Okay. Homelessness. Okay, let's just do homelessness. Whatever. So you give it a
Well,
few
he's not connected to the internet. He may not
seconds.
know so much, but okay, we'll see.
You give it a few seconds, and what it does is it basically writes the article. The homelessness crisis in America is one of the defining issues of our time. Despite being the wealthiest country in the world, an estimated 500,000 people are currently living, etc., etc. So this is like it's writing a full-on article right now. What it's doing is it's drawing upon information that it was trained on. So no, at the moment it doesn't have access to the internet, and it's not up to date with, I think, current events or anything. At least until I think until 2021. But it's basically a language model that they trained it on a lot of information, and it analyzes language, and that's how it does what it does. So
So, is
there
it
you go.
regurgitating right now this information that it had within it, or is it piecing to get like? Does it have somewhere stored within it these paragraphs somehow?
No, it
It's
doesn't.
just giving to
It
you
no,
what?
it doesn't. It doesn't. It comes up with new combinations of words,
Can you
with
read
new
us the
paragraphs.
last two paragraphs, for
Last
example?
two paragraph, but
Yeah,
addressing
read us something.
homelessness. Here's the last two. Okay, so it finished writing my essay, and but addressing homelessness is not just the responsibility of the government. We all have a role to play in helping those who are struggling. This can include volunteering at local shelters or organizations that help the homeless, donating money or goods, or simply reaching out to those who are living on the streets and offering a kind word or a helping hand. Uh, in short, you can hear the style. You wouldn't
Doesn't sound like a robot at
doesn't
all.
sound it doesn't sound like a robot.
No,
Okay, this was just,
no.
you can say, okay, it looks like it copies it from somewhere, right? It looks like, okay,
It does.
maybe
It seems like it.
maybe they fed it with a bunch of information from the internet, and okay, and now it just kind of, pieces things together.
Spits it back out. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so let's ask it to write a short parable with plot and
Oh, we
characters.
lost you.
You lost me there for a few seconds, right? That's what's happening now, because it's saying
Yeah.
my connection is unstable. Are you still? Do you hear me now? You hear me now? Hear me now? 1 2 3, 1 2 3.
With you now, yeah.
Okay, so you lost me there for
Mm-hmm.
2 seconds. So I'm gonna ask it now to write a short parable with plot and characters that explains We started with homelessness. Let's continue with that. Homelessness to
Can you just explain what you wrote above? Can you say explain what you wrote above?
Okay, yeah.
From
Explain
your explanation above.
what you wrote above to a 5-year-old. Okay, so write a short parable with plot and characters that explain what you wrote above, which is an already AI written 500 words about homelessness, to a 5-year-old with plot and characters. Let's see what it does with that.
Thinking.
Yeah, it's thinking. Once upon a time, in a big and busy city, there was a little girl named Lily who lived in a cozy and warm home with her family. One day, while out exploring the city with her parents, Lily saw a man sleeping on a sidewalk, wrapped in a dirty blanket. Lily was curious and asked her parents why the man was sleeping outside. They explained that the man was homeless. You guys are both.
This is incredible.
You're both
I'm in shock.
You're both intrigued
I've been
right
playing with it
now
for hours,
by
and I'm still,
a story that
yeah.
was being written by AI as we speak.
This is
Not exactly
shock.
a bedtime story.
This is crazy.
I'm in awe. It's so surreal.
Okay.
Even after spending hours with it.
Last one.
Shocked.
Last one. Just to have some real fun with it. Write a rap song. A fun rap song with rhymes, obviously, about what? The nature of reality. Let's just go to a completely different place. Nature of reality and purpose of human development. How about that? Okay, let's see what it does with that. See, you look at the nature of nature of human nature. I was already going like, come on, this is way too many seconds. you can do it. You can do it faster.
Making me wait 6 seconds.
Let's talk about reality. It's time to get deep. The nature of it all. It's time for us to peep. Our existence, it's a mystery, but we gotta keep on searching for our history. The purpose of human development is to keep on pushing and moving forward, to unlock the secrets of our lives and reach for the stars and soar to new heights. Some say reality is just an illusion, but I say it's ours to shape and to mold. We gotta keep on learning and growing to reach our full potential. That's what we're knowing. Check this out. I mean, this is what is going on here. Right? Like, what is going on here? Okay, I think...
What the heck is going on?
Now the questions start flooding. Like, wait a second.
Right.
Where are, what's actually... Where
This
are
is like,
we now?
This is like the first time that... Yeah, this is like the first time that the cell phone came out. Like, everybody got a mobile phone in their hand. Or everyone
Absolutely.
got, like, Google. This is the next... That's what I feel when I'm seeing this. This is just the rudimentary beginning of it. I don't even think most people know about it yet. But... yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Now plus deep fakes together. I mean, they're like,
okay.
Whoa, like where
now,
are they?
We can take. There's a bunch of places to take this discussion, but let's start from the obvious one. The obvious one is this. This is a site. It's called Content Gather, and they're basically matching writers with people who need content. And 2 days ago, they released this blog post basically saying, goodbye, friends. We are no longer in business. And obviously, it is because of ChatGPT. So this is what they're saying. The internet and content marketing spaces are in constant state of evolution. We've always kept our finger on the pulse of these shifts to adapt when necessary. A recent development caught us and the rest of the tech world by surprise: the introduction of OpenAI's ChatGPT. Long story short, they're basically saying, listen, we're no longer relevant. This whole thing is out the window. This is a company that's been in business for 6 years, and they're just basically saying that's it. It is with heavy heart that we announce that in response to ChatGPT, Content Gather is permanently closing its doors. So this is what we're talking about. Let's start there. The obvious implications of AI, as not just us and our teacher, but obviously just tech analysts have been saying for a long time, that when AI gets good enough, like ChatGPT, you're not going to need a whole bunch of people a whole bunch of professions. I mean, think now anyone who writes blog posts, content, you know, that is all of that is now you're only as good.
Scripts, songs,
Exactly.
stories, books.
You're only as good as you can use these tools better than others. Oh, I lost you again.
Write me a song in the style of this band, but I don't know, based on their top. Chris, you hear me? I see a soft
I hear you.
frozen.
I hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I hear
okay.
you. We had
You
another
know,
hiccup. I don't know what's going on
e-
with these things. Yeah.
every any pops, any song. Write me the best classical song. Write me a pop song. I see somebody here is asking about customer support. Yeah, David, customer support, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ichdu
Yeah.
said something. Is this available? Yeah, everyone can get this for free right now. Just
Uh,
Google
in the time,
ChatGPT.
for the time being,
Yeah, I would
apparently.
say
Yeah,
for the
for the time
moment,
being.
this is a free research preview, they call it, which basically means we're happy that 1 million people are already using this because by using that, the AI is getting even better, and then they can come up with the next version that's going to be even better, and it's probably going to cost
Right.
money, but
This is not the
yeah.
first iteration, by the way. There's been a few iterations of this
Yeah.
before. This is basically the one they're like, okay, this is good enough to have people play with and develop it even further. Of course, how do you monetize it? How do you make money? And of course, you're already saying, how do you weaponize it? Right? This is kind of it's serving governments and everything already. That's kind of what OpenAI. It's a little misleading. It's not actually open
So
source
with
like you would think from the
with
company name.
with CGI or deep fake, not even deep fake. Right now, there's a certain movies you can go to, and there's a lot of movies. But if it understands the kind of the look you like in your leading characters, and the look you like in your antagonists, and in your villains in your movies, and it understands the kind of drama you like and the kind of comedy you like, it can basically, in a matter of a few minutes, make a movie, an individual movie for each and every person based on all of their, the things that they like. Um, I mean, what is school anymore? Who needs to write it, do any homework? What is
that's an
Yeah,
important
even when
point.
it comes
school,
to
university,
programming?
yeah.
When it comes to computer programming, you won't need armies of programmers anymore. You'll just need to kind of tell it what you want it to do, and it will. I mean,
Oh yeah,
everything.
and this thing we didn't show it because we're not coders, and that'll be more complicated for us to show. But this thing, look it up for those who are interested. This thing does code too. I think it does code even better than it does human language because it is a computer. It's you can tell it to write code, fix code, show it code, and ask it to search for bugs in the code. This is
Wow.
it does that too. And it knows a bunch of languages. So
What
who
a
need,
short-lived profession to be a software developer. It like began like 30 years ago or whatever, and no, a little bit more, 50 years ago. And now it's already becoming, and they closed their doors. I'm intrigued by what you said about school because here's kind of the point I want to ask about. I've been so excited about this show because my brain is just racing through all these things. Like, what's actually happening? Where are we right now? If you think about it, what used to be really respected, or things, the way that humans in previous societies and even in our society kind of were honored or respected or made their way somehow into the history books was their level of intellect, like how they contributed intellectually to society, to human society, right? They were smart
yes.
people. They were able to. They absorbed a bunch of knowledge and were able to regurgitate it maybe in their own special way, right? So what's happening now that we're entering into a time
Right.
where knowing something basically means nothing. It means to know something, to be knowledgeable in something, is
Seth,
almost obsolete as far as
as
a human being
the
goes.
as the I'll take what you said, Chris, and I'll ask Seth as the older person in the room, the slightly
Oh,
older than than the rest of us here. Did you still have
the
to
wiser.
did you still have to memorize things at school?
I still remember doing. We had to memorize, I think, every country and the capital. So I still remember the beginning, sitting on my bed with with the flashcards. Algeria, Algiers, Afghanistan, Kabul. Yeah, we had to we literally
Whoa, very nice.
Not
I'm
bad,
not
not
thinking
bad.
that if I made a song out of it. Yeah, we literally had to memorize the capital of 100 countries, and we
So-
had to memorize the capital of every of the 50 states in the United States. These were things that they made us
Right.
do for some stupid reason.
Right. So think
Well,
about
back then it was important, maybe kind of like you had to write that down on a piece of paper and show someone
Never
else that
to
you knew that.
Yeah, never. I've never used that information.
so clearly it's becoming completely ridiculous. Can I say ridiculous to
Yeah.
for us to even like not delegate that? Like, why do we need to load our brain with stuff to remember? It doesn't make any sense. Knowledge in general, knowledge like I remember a time before the internet was a big thing, before smartphones, right? And as kids in school, like basically your teacher was your source of knowledge. But that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The teacher clearly, if a teacher is is being a teacher or accepted to be a teacher because they have a lot of knowledge, that sounds ridiculous. Because today, without ChatGPT, you already have all the knowledge online. With ChatGPT or something of the like, you can access it and get exactly what you need, answer
Plenty
to
of
any
examples
kind
of
of
that.
question. This thing, we didn't show it because it's endless what you can play with it. But this thing gives you, it gives you ideas. You can brainstorm with it.
Should we spill the beans on?
Yeah,
on
we
the...
should. For in fact, the title of this show and the description and the idea for what to put in the thumbnail all came from ChatGPT. We just told it what we want to talk about, and we said, give us ideas for a YouTube title. Give us ideas for
Why
what
not?
to put in the thumbnail,
Do I
and
need
write
to,
the
do I need to
description.
break a sweat?
Right.
Do I?
And also,
Why?
I gotta say, like I'm now thinking like an employer a little bit. When you work with such a thing, you immediately feel like, oh wow, you can just ask it immediately to come up with another idea and another idea, and now about this, and now about that, and now about this, and it doesn't need any sick leaves, and it doesn't need any kind of motivation. It doesn't need any bonuses. It's
Once you
clearly
put a
this
voice
is
on
where
this,
it's
if you put a
going.
good voice on this,
Oh wow!
this
Now
could,
now
this
you
could
just
answer,
speak to it. Yeah.
this could answer all the phone calls for every business. You don't need anybody to answer any phone calls anymore. You don't need.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, you don't need
and
technical
honestly,
support for all of your all of every single piece of technology. The tech support
Right.
number.
yes, and honestly, when
Anything that a
I
human touches is already less. It's already less efficient. And
exactly,
so
exactly,
why?
yeah,
Why
exactly
would
what
you?
I was going to say. If I
My
call
head's
like
gonna explode.
if I call customer support for something, like I
Your
would
hold
love.
time is 25 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd love to have give me an AI. Sure, I want to talk to an AI. I don't want to talk to a human now who is annoyed by their own problems at home, and now they have to take a call and answer a client. So
It's about time, honestly.
yeah. So clearly, it's very clear on a technological, economic level that we're going towards something dramatic in terms of what the human being is going to do in life for work and for what will be the future professions, and all of that is one side of the question. But the other side of it, I would say, is what does it actually even mean to be a human being? To continue on what Chris started, we for I think for the last, I'm gonna go maybe too much here, too far into the past here, but I would say even from the time of the Enlightenment, let's say even the Renaissance and on, or something like that, we've, as a society, as a species, we've put more and more emphasis on human intellect, on our ability to analyze and to think. And it's still true for today, especially in the last century, and that's why, science is something that we respect a lot. And in society, we revere and respect those who have, like a powerful
Big
intellectual
thinkers.
capacity.
You have the Jordan Petersons of the world, and
Right.
the
So the question is, if AI is going to be able to be a lot more effective in analyzing and synthesizing, and a lot faster, and its capacity is much bigger, in incredibly bigger than ours, then all of a sudden the intellect is not that important about the human being. So that raises a question. Okay, so what is the unique thing about the human being? What separates us from the machines, or gives us any advantage? Do we have any advantage over the machines?
well,
I'm
from
starting
day
to
one.
sound like Morpheus from
Yeah, it sounded
the
just like it.
Matrix. The machines. Remember that?
It makes you, it's because from day one, right? Because from day one, it's like, okay, you go to school, you're not even thinking, you're just kind of like sent out of your house to go to school, and then a little bit later, it's kind of like, what do you want to be when you grow up, and then what job are you gonna have? Not profession, but also how are you gonna sustain yourself. Those questions are kind of taken off the table now. I mean, now as in like not long from now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the question. Like, okay, so as soon as you come out, we're not preparing this child come out of the womb, right? We're not preparing a child to survive in the world where they have to sustain themselves with a job and compete in society. That is already gone. So if that's gone, then what? What is there then?
Yes,
It's
hold
a
on.
very
exactly.
interesting feeling.
So hold on. When we asked about homelessness, it gave us an answer that that generally it was like kind of this heartfelt thing that homelessness isn't a great thing, and that it's a crisis and we need to help homeless people. But I had a conversation not that long ago with someone who's very, very smart in this world, a business person, a colleague, and the way that this person sees the world, they see the world that there's always going to be wars. There was always wars. Not everybody can be successful. There's always haves. There's always have-nots, and this is just how humanity develops. And so to them, I was talking about the homelessness that I saw, and to them, they're like, listen, things are developing. Not everybody can live in your town. Not everybody can be like that. And they look at it in a totally different way. So the the this chat GPT, but
I
right,
lost 2 seconds there. I lost two
I
seconds.
said that the chat GPT already has a certain kind of flavor to it. It's not the flavor
Oh.
of this guy who's like calculated like that. It has some personality.
Well,
Okay.
you can steer it. I could tell him tell it to write the same article, but lean on this side, or lean towards this side, or
Okay.
talk about.
But there's a point
But
I want to make.
someone programmed it. Yes, if that's what you
Yeah.
mean.
So
Yes.
so
Yeah.
so Oppenheimer, Einstein, these guys, they came up with science, and that science was used to make bombs.
Right.
Some guys came up with the internet, and that internet was used to make, to do all kind of black market things, and sell weapons, and traffic people, and exploit people through TikTok and
Yeah.
all the social media stuff. All of the technologies that were, social media came out. Oh, great, it's going to connect people. It turns out that all the 16-year-old kids are depressed,
Right.
right? So the technology, the raw, pure technology is fascinating. And we talk about it as like, wow, we're going to all be free to be in spirituality because all the normal everyday stuff is going to be taken care of, right? But the cold hard facts on the ground are that as long as human beings are the way they are now, all of these technologies will just, based on the heart
It'll
of
hurt, kind
humans,
of.
like
Yeah.
the technologies, as great as they are, they're pure raw technology. It really follows the heart of society. And if the heart of society is still self-serving, egoistic, then the technologies themselves just keep being used. I mean, look at everything online. It feels like everything
Yeah.
is exploiting you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely agree. Absolutely important point. I want to follow up on it with this. The rise of AI, specifically, the rise of artificial intelligence. By the way, it's a uh, well
Yeah, they
well titled name. It's artificial intelligence. That's what it is. Um, it might help us. Like you said, it's a double edged sword, like any technology. But at least in terms of a mirror, you said in the beginning of the show, you look at technology as a mirror from a Kabbalistic perspective, a mirror of human development. What is the rise of AI showing us if we think about it as a mirror of human development? So it's showing us that it's going to be much more smarter, productive, intellectually capable than us. And that might be a tipping point, a turning point, where we begin to try to look for what is it about us that is actually worthy of appreciation. And then we might actually have the chance to begin to appreciate the emotional dimension of the human being, which is what the machines can never replicate. And
right.
I'm saying this from a Kabbalistic perspective with full confidence. I would be delighted to speak to any Elon Musk or whoever, whoever is the genius about AI and where it develops, and argue, so to speak, with them about this point.
So when
The,
every
the,
single human, when every single person has at the tip of their fingers the every piece of knowledge you could ever need and can compose it in a beautiful way and say anything and know everything about knowledge that you could ever want. So what is left of the human being?
yes, exactly. And what's left is very simple. Our ability to feel. AI is going to be able to do everything that we do. Creative things. We just saw it wrote a rap song in 10 seconds, and it's not bad as a starting point. You know what I mean? And generative AI is going to be everywhere. This is not, me prophesizing. Anyone who understands the technology can tell you it's already happening in imagery. You're going to see it in video. You're going to see it everywhere. Design, music. You're going to see it everywhere. So all of the creative, capacity of the human being, that can be replicated. The knowledge, of course. Intellectual analysis and synthesis, absolutely. What is left? What is the thing that AI can't do? And
Basically work. You're basically saying work. Any kind of work that a person would do, right? Okay, you're taking
yeah,
them out of the
yeah,
fields.
okay.
You're taking them out of the workplace. It's almost like it's almost like if I'm not doing something with my hands, my arms, and my legs, and using my brain to do something, you're taking that all away, basically. Then I'm just this body that's standing here, like, what am I doing? Replicating itself for what?
So it's
You
it's
know?
also as this mirror. It gives us and if we feel that nature is developing us and nature is doing this as well, this isn't happening outside of the scope of the natural forces, then nature is now, we're like in hyper mode. Nature's pushing us now past the mind. So what is left of our development?
Exactly. That
That's what I
that
love. I love
that
that. I love that direction.
yeah. I think it's
It's happening so
nature
fast. It's so exciting.
so fast, and you could say nature. This it's hard to connect
So
all these
fast.
things
After
together.
14 billions of years of preparation, it's all happening so fast.
Yeah, but the acceleration, the path of acceleration itself is the pace of acceleration is speeding up. the amount of changes happen is greater in much less time than before. Anyways, I would say it is pushing, the trajectory is, it's pushing us towards where are we actually human beings? What is unique about us? What is it that we are actually uniquely singular in nature? And it is the emotional dimension. We are the sensors. AI, just okay, let's go 2-3 decades into the future, right? So let's say you take the same GPT, ChatGPT stuff that we see now, make it, hundreds of times better, thousands of times better. Couple that with some android, humanoid-looking kind of robots, and make them,
Oh, the Orville.
material in terms
Any
of
of the Orville fans out there.
their material. Yeah, those who know.
Do my laundry, cook me dinner, make my bed.
No.
Take the kids to
Forget about this
practice.
servitude. Besides servitude, you're gonna have easily. You're gonna have AI robots that look indistinguishable from human beings. That's where I'm going with this. Okay, so they'll respond and express themselves in a way that you cannot distinguish whether this is a human or a robot. Why will you distinguish? Because on the outside, let's say we make their material, we know how to replicate it with nanotech and biotech, we can engineer the materials, it'll look like a human being with all of the slight imperfections that human beings have with their face.
I
and
mean,
their
that's the
hair,
direction. You
whatever.
can't deny it. That's
Okay.
the direction it's going in. That's what we
And
want right now, even.
So what's the
yeah,
difference
just,
between
extrapolate.
so what's the difference between that AI and the human being in 30 years from now? 300, whatever, however it takes. What's the difference? They're having a conversation. Is there any difference between them?
Can I give you an example? On the Orville, there's exactly what you're saying.
What's
It
your
even has the. It's a show with Seth MacFarlane, but they put it on Hulu, and it's like based in the future. It's like kind of like a Star Trek satire, but it actually ended up being more serious. Here's what they ran into. It's a woman and this AI robot. She's a scientist. She's a psychologist. So it becomes very interested in this artificial intelligence that doesn't sense. It doesn't feel. And so she ends up kind of falling in love with it, but it's so hard for her because it's not reciprocated, and she just wants so bad to understand what it means to love. And because all these all the logical explanation for what love is like, okay, but you love me, but I don't do this for you, and I can't do that for you. Like, why would you? It's something that the robot can't understand. And a lot of the seasons is this struggle that she has with not being able to have this reciprocal. You're getting at, but it's a point that's valid. It's like, okay, so where's the feeling? Where's the emotion? That doesn't exist in something that you create with
okay.
wires and electricity.
Let me challenge it before
Yeah.
before you resolve
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Let me
yeah, yeah.
challenge it that I imagine that, and I saw some of these movies also, that the AI that looks like a human, like Westworld. I saw some of the first season of Westworld. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's a place where you
No.
can go and dress up like an old cowboy, and you can kill people, you can have intimate relationships with people, but it's all robots there. So you can kind of like, you take a train to this place. So what I'm saying is that I think that there are certain levels of intimacy that you could have, not just sexual intimacy, like anger, joy. There are certain levels that you still can have and share with this. So then
Yes.
the question then is, where is that limit, and what is beyond that limit? Not just that
Right.
you can't have intimacy.
Yes.
Like it's not just a piece of silicon no, it's also a piece of silicon that can relate to you and can express
Yeah.
emotions and respond to your emotions. But where is the limit of that, and what is left? Where is there something left? And that's what is exciting about what we want to bring to the table.
Yeah. Well, first of all, there already are people who use chatbots I think there's this app Replica. We once talked about it. There are
Yeah, we
some
talked
things
about
like
it one
that.
time.
There are these robot dogs that people already use AI for as companion, as a companion in one way or another. And I think that's going to be bigger and bigger. I can feel when it's not that weird of a concept. Think about it, because I want to set this up for a second so we can differentiate that between this other level that Seth is want us to kind of get to. When you watch a movie, do you get excited? Do you get emotional? Are you
Of
moved?
course.
Okay. What are you getting moved by? Nothing real is happening there. There are people who are told by a director to say this. No, say, oh, wait a second, we lost sound. Come here,
I've
we need
cried
we
from
need
reading
this
a
sound.
book.
That's what I'm saying, and all of it is planned and analyzed and carried out. Now, when you watch the film, you're not even watching the actors in real time. You're watching bits of digital data, recorded on some tape, and
Don't ruin
you
movies for
play
me. Yeah.
it. You play it, and you go, oh, and you get excited, and you shed a tear, but you're not actually being the emotion that you feel is not actually from the actors. It's not even from the script. Because it activates
You're going for
emotion
a
in
ride.
you.
Yeah.
And that's also why
Um,
some people will be excited by one movie, other people will be excited by another. What the point is, who feels? The person who feels is the sensor. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that the AI in the future will be able to simulate emotion and will be able to make us move us and make us emotional. But will it actually sense? Will it actually feel something? And I'm saying no. Kabbalistically speaking, obviously no. It'll mimic every human emotion in terms of external expression. It'll be, to the slightest facial muscles that move in your, everything can be simulated, but
it'll be like watching a movie.
there's no
Exactly like watching a
exactly
movie.
but
Yeah.
there is no actual sensor behind it. There's just calculations. Why? Because sensor, and that's where this is such a big point for me, because I've seen some of these AI experts talk about AI becoming conscious. It will become self-aware. We will have AI and it will be conscious, and that's a complete misunderstanding of consciousness and sensation and emotion, because that's not their area. That's not their area of expertise. They're trying to apply computer science and calculations to understand consciousness, and that is ridiculous from a Kabbalistic perspective, because the root of emotionality is the basis of it. The foundation of any emotion we feel is non-material. Any emotion we feel, when you feel pain, when you feel love, when you feel fear, when you feel joy, you are expressing it in behavior and words. You identify it, and you can measure it with biochemical reactions in your body. But all of that is external to the foundational dimension that is non-material. And that dimension is a dimension of desire. And desire is something that does not exist and will not exist in AI. It can plan things. It can simulate desire. It will not sense desire, because desire was created,
I
and that's it. Whatever's created in creation, all of creation is just a desire. That's it. That's the sensor that feels. We call it in Kabbalah vessel, right? Okay.
So you can imagine then that. So this is incredible.
I
But
lost two
then you can
seconds. I lost two
imagine.
seconds. Say it again. Uh,
Okay, so
sec-
you can imagine that what we're talking about with the AI is incredible, but then alongside of that, we go through this spiritual development, as we call it, this emotional development, where we feel, like, for example, you can feel romance towards the AI. You can feel camaraderie with the AI. You could
yes.
feel all these things. You could feel, let's say, 1,000 different incredible emotions. But at some point, there's another dimension of emotions, another dimension of connection, which is something that's spiritual, that doesn't exist in this material creation. And
Mhm.
in there, all of a sudden, people start communicating more, connecting more. And now you start, it's like a different category of human being almost. The category of
Mhm.
human being that everything else that's going on here, all the AI and the humans interacting and everything. And then there's another group of humans at first, and then more and more, who start communicating from these other feelings that are not just based on what you can do with a robot, but that's based on something, what is it? What am I saying? Something eternal,
Yes.
something
Yes. Yes.
outside of all of this silicon, and then you can start to recognize others who are not from the twitches in their face or the looks in their eye or the something with their eye, their furrow of their brow, but there's some other sensors that you have, and you realize that this other person has, that the robots and nobody else has. And all of a sudden there's this other network that reveals itself
Mm.
between people, that leaves all of the Silicon Valley behind, that leaves all of the
And the
artificial
The
biological
bodies.
and the
The
biological
yeah.
bodies.
body
Yeah.
behind. And all of a sudden you enter a place where there's people who lived 1,000 years ago are there with you, because the other people who attained these degrees are all there, because there's no time there. You're outside of bodies and you're communicating on
Mm.
this whole other eternal network.
And
But
that's
look
the
at but look
next
if
stage of the human experience. This is the next stage of the human experience, of human consciousness, of human evolution. That's where we're going. And when you put that in perspective, now you look at the AI developments. If you take that as the stage we need to go, if you say, okay, human beings are going to delve into the emotional dimension of their experience, of their existence, and they're going to discover this emotional non-material network that connects them, now you can look at AI and the rise of AI in our time, and all of a sudden it looks like a springboard towards that. You know what I mean? Because all of a sudden, oh, this is helping us see what we are not,
Mm.
and what we and ask ourselves, what are we really? That's what AI is ultimately doing. You think about
if
it.
it,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
it
I'm
I just it
losing
makes you
you.
think like
I'm losing
this.
you. The technically, yeah, I can hear you now.
It's really hard. It's really hard. It's if you look at like this, all of a sudden we arranged ourselves into this network. We arranged ourselves into connecting ourselves through the internet and through trade and all that. We did that consciously, or there's this template from some other dimension that places itself on top of these bodies that somehow organize themselves, right? But they receive that instruction from the feeling, from thought, right? That interprets the feeling. So it's like they're kind of meeting each other. So now it's like all the humans in this century are starting to even think about, to have this thought that like us, for example, oh, there's this instruction almost from nature to organize ourselves into a network, to like social network, to open myself, right? To open myself, to be, I don't know why, but I want to show everyone in the world about what I did on the holidays. I don't know why, but I want to kind of like strip myself and be exposed to everyone. Like, I'm doing that consciously, or is it something I want? So it's this thing that's coming from some other dimension that we have no contact with, we have no touch, but it exists somewhere because it's formed the entire of nature, and it formed the entire structure and network uh, this concept of forming ourselves into a network, it did that. We didn't do that consciously. It came from somewhere else, and all of a sudden we're starting to. It's kind of like closing your eyes and feeling around. And before you didn't feel that there's a door, and now you feel there's a door. You don't see the door, but you can kind of like feel that there's like a door. So it's still concealed from you, but you know that it's there. So it's kind of like that same kind of feeling that we know that there is this network that exists, but we don't really know exactly where it is, but we feel ourselves coming closer to it and connecting to that thought that created the network is like on a different, it's in a different plan, it's like in a different land, a different dimension. We're coming closer to like the feeling that that's actually where real life is. All these bodies and other things, that's like not important. All this technology is like pushing us to that thought that, oh, that's actually what's important. We don't realize that's what's happening, but it's like organizing, we're being organized kind of in essentially to feel that that's more important than bodies, technology, anything else. Like that's what we'll be fulfilled by.
Yeah. And also think about the when you say like we're getting organized, that's a very interesting concept if you think about how the development of technology reorganizes society. Clearly, I mean, by the way, right now, even regulations, copyrights, you know, how do you copyright what the AI writes? Is it you? Is it this is I watched a video of someone who used these new AI tools to create imagery, and he was trying to copyright it in England. This is like from a few days ago, and he's basically showing
To create what? Sorry, we missed
just
it.
created some image on Midjourney or one of those tools that like Dali that creates image to text, and he tried to copyright it. So I you can't hear me. You don't hear me
Ah,
right now.
yeah,
Can you hear me?
it's all right. Yeah,
Okay,
just keep going.
We're mostly
Now we
hearing you.
can.
We just
mostly
don't hear
hearing.
the important parts.
Right. So
Is
the
the and a
oh my God. Um, anyway, the authorities, the legal authorities, don't know at the moment what exactly to do with copyrights. You know the in terms of
right?
all of those AI generated arts. The same will happen in many other areas. The point I'm making is that clearly technology is reshaping societies. It's going to change regulations and laws, and the whole social economic order is going to be affected by this. That's clear. But from a spiritual perspective, if you look at humanity as evolving towards that emotional dimension that we were talking about, that entering the emotional network between us that is above space, above time, above physicality and matter altogether. If you look at everything happening towards that, then what technology is doing now, it's like setting the infrastructure, or reorganizing society in a way that we can then use the technology, if we will be smart enough as a species and not just being hit by evolution, by nature in order to advance. If we actually advance consciously towards that emotional network, then we'll be able to use that technology and all of that technological infrastructure that's created in order to assist us in reshaping our mind and heart.
Because that
And
could really hurt. It could really hurt if you get smacked by not having a job. The entire world goes into not having a job. On one hand, that's great. On the other hand, if you don't have a job and the rest is not set up to handle a humanity with a non-working, it kind of has to go like together, right, in balance, in parallel, I guess is the right way to say it.
The only intelligence or force smart enough to come up with this is not an NGO or some world leader or the World Economic Forum or anything like that. It's because these things are incapable of accounting for the infinite amount of variables. You have to take into account what system, what intelligence can take into account 8 billion people, and not only 8 billion people, Like we did a show here a long time ago, many months ago, about the mycelium, right? The network on the mycelium. Like what
Yeah.
intelligence can not only consider all of the people, but the network under the earth that takes care of all of the plants, and the network in the sea that keeps everything in balance. Because like, oh, we want to get rid of mosquitoes here. Okay, you get rid of mosquitoes, but you screw up the bats. And if you screw up the bats, it screws up the wolves. And if you screw up the wolves, it screws
Hmm.
up the beavers, which screws up the dams, which means that everything floods. And it's like the system is so interconnected
Yeah.
that there is no intelligence except the one unified intelligence that's capable of doing this. And so our hope is to somehow enter into that. We have to enter into that. All of these things are have to be tools. You know, we have to. And that's what worries me a little bit. Is that whoever gets their hands on this, that's the direction it's going to go. Like Google feeds you results based on how much stuff they can sell,
Right.
based on ad revenue,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's not really a true search engine. It's serving you up whatever it can in order to get you to buy
Whatever
stuff.
best for the profit that's being made
Yet,
on your
right.
back.
And
it still developed us. Yet it still developed everything else.
That's
on one
true.
hand, it's like to
That's
our
true.
demise, but on the other hand, so it's this parallel development. It's very interesting.
but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
look at the world that it developed. It's totally based on exploitation.
Yes.
But it developed. It's still
But it's still-
advanced towards something.
Yeah. But what we
Yeah, you're back. You're back. Hi.
oh man. Yeah, there's two sides to this coin. There's two sides to human development all the time. There's two sides, and with technology, technology is like the double-edged sword itself. It's like it's like the potential of human development. It can go this way or that way. There's always two sides. We are gradually setting up the infrastructure for us to connect above time, above space. Look at the internet. Look at the amazing communication that we are now having. This was science fiction, unrealistic, laughable 100 years ago. Here's where we are. We're in 3 different places in the world, and we're having a conversation with many other people from all around the world. How is that even possible? And it is possible. On the other hand, the same network that allows us, the same infrastructure, is also the infrastructure that's being used to exploit us, ultimately, like Seth said, right? So there's no doubt with AI, with the rise of AI and ChatGPT and all of that, you're going to see the same thing. You're going to see the potential for good and the potential for bad. And you're going to see both of them happening. But the big transition, the great transition.
The great
ultimately-
transition.
Yes, the great transition is going to happen when we will consciously embrace our unique and singular human ability that no AI will ever have to experience and connect with others on an emotional level that will guide us into the next stage of human evolution, entering that non-material emotional network that connects us not just to each other, but to every being that ever existed in all of space and all of time. That is where we're going from a Kabbalistic perspective. And from that perspective, it's very clear that AI is just a very good springboard, a stage, a phase that will help us look at ourselves in the mirror and understand what are we as human beings? What is human development and where are we headed? I don't know if you heard any
Very
of
exciting.
that, because we have this.
I don't know.
Weird.
Tell me
technical
something
thing.
important, and then as soon as you're about to tell me something important, I won't. I'll just. It'll be nothing. It was very fun.
All right. our time is up. This is Seth. You say some closing words. I don't know if you even hear me right now. That I can't hear you. I don't. You're muted. You're just muted.
Okay, yeah,
There we go.
That was
Yeah.
that was great. It was funny because Chris and I couldn't hear you most of the time when you were landing on your main point, but we felt it. There's something else beyond all this. So this is like when cell phones came out. This is like when Google came out. This will be a next level. I don't know if it'll be that big, but it could very well be the next. But like we've been talking about, there's something beyond all of this, and that's where I think, Chris, that's the door you were pointing to in your explanation there. Stay tuned. Next week we'll be here Thursday, 2 p.m. We'll continue to look into what's going on in the world, where we're going. Oh, not next week, Thursday? Oh, next week.
Good point. Right? Good point. Can you hear me now? You hear me now? We will not, Chris, right? Next week it's happening. Next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the following Thursday.
We will not be here next week. So consider that an announcement, but the week after that, the week after that, we will be here.
Bye, friends. Big hug to everybody around the world.
Yes.
And we will see you soon. Thanks.
See ya next time. Bye.
We came off for nothing, now we get into a higher elevation. The friends are the greatest, vibing in the same vibration. You my brother, ain't no replacement. And I don't know nothing but the friends.
All around the world, connecting points in one desire. All around the world, there's so many sparkles, single fire. All around the world, connecting points in one desire. All around, there's so many sparkles, single fire. All around the world, connecting points in one desire. All around the world, there's so many sparkles, single fire. All around the world, connecting points in one desire. All around the world, there's so many sparkles, single fire.
I got so many European friends, gigantic. Thinking about my South American friends, gigantic. Thinking about all my Russian friends, gigantic. Thinking about all my African friends, gigantic.